Even as a child, I knew that I was not good enough to stand before a holy God and be allowed to go into heaven. Even as a young child, I knew that. There was a time, when I was 15 years old, that I was actually listening to the evangelist Billy Graham in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, when he was there in 1955. And as a child, I remember looking up at the platform where Billy Graham was, and I remember saying to myself, why could not I have been born Billy Graham? And then I would have been sure of going to heaven. Now, why did I think that? I thought that because I looked at Billy Graham and I thought, now there is a righteous person. There is somebody who is, if anybody's good enough to get into heaven, surely it would be this man that was preaching up front. That's why I thought that. I knew not what the Bible taught. I knew not the scriptures. I knew of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal and so forth. And I knew that I was guilty before a holy God. I knew that. Now there are people that are going to go and stand before God in their very own righteousness, their self-righteousness. They're going to say, I was not that bad and my good works should outweigh my bad works. And, they're going to get the shock of their life, because when they stand before a holy God and they're actually asking to be judged by their works, they are going to find out that unless they are perfect, God must reject them, because they have not perfect righteousness. They have not lived a perfect life. Only a fool would say he has lived a perfect life, a life good enough to get into heaven. Do not be deceived. It's not going to happen that way. Now, I know now that when I stand before God and God looks at me, He is going to see the life that Jesus lived. Horatius Bonar summed it up. The life that I lived is not good enough. Let me show you the quote from Horatius Bonar. Let me try and get it here if I can, so that you can see. Here it is. Upon a life I have not lived. Upon a death I did not die. Another's life, another's death, I stake my whole eternity. Yes, that's the way it is. When I stand before a holy God, Jesus is going to put his arm around me and say, I did it all for you. I lived the perfect life for you. I died, I paid the price for your sin on the cross, because the wages of sin is death. And apart from me paying that price, you in your own sin would have to die and pay your price in hell for eternity. Can you not see? Can you not see how simple the gospel message is? The gospel message is, whosoever will may come. If you come in your own self-righteousness and stand before God, you will end up in that place that is called hell. So, there's the message. The gospel message is, by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. Read those verses, and you will see what the plain and simple gospel message is. That's my standing before God. God, the Father, will look at me as perfect as his Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, because I am not trusting in my own righteousness. I am trusting in the righteousness of the Lord Jesus Christ that was imputed to me the day that I bowed before him as a sinner and said, God, be merciful to me, a sinner, one that has broken the holy laws of God. And God said, I will be merciful to you. That is the gospel message.